Hello, Dr. Huff. I'm Leonel Rios, and today I'm going to be presenting my speech. And here are my note cards. And then here are my two audience members. This is my sister, Suleika, and then this is my dad. So my speech will begin shortly. And I also forgot to mention, because I'm not sure if we were supposed to show our full attire to you, Dr. Huff, but I have my tie, my dress pants, my shoes, that's my belt buckle, and then I have my socks. A dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, said MLK, a great activist of our pastime. Today we will dive into the three types of social justice reform that this country needs. First, we will be looking at one of the biggest social reforms this country needs, gun violence. Second, we'll be looking at racial injustice. And finally, we'll be looking at climate justice. To start off with, gun violence can be broken down into two subpoints. The easy access to guns, either legally or illegally, and the increase of gang violence. My first subpoint is growing up on the east side, I dealt with a lot of gang violence. In 2015, Vice said that Salinas' gun homicide rate was 19.7 shooting deaths per 100,000, 7 times more nationwide. My subpoint 2, with the gangs, is that the National Gang Center said that 30,000 gangs represent a 15% increase. So not only in Salinas has gangs increased, but also in the country, creating more gun violence. My second point is racial injustice. That could also be separated into two subpoints: systemic racism and discrimination in the workforce. My first subpoint happened, sadly, with George Floyd. George Floyd was arrested over $20, put on the ground, and died by an officer kneeling on his throat. Now that is systemic racism. After George Floyd's death, there was a movement started, the Me Too movement. Companies flocked to it to try to promote themselves. But sadly, those companies discriminated their black workers in that workforce and paid them less. Finally, the last one is climate justice, which is broken into two subpoints, being politicians and companies. After a few years of research, you would think that our politicians would push climate change. Well, our president, or our last president, Donald Trump, called climate change a hoax. BBC in October said Trump accused scientists of having a political agenda. Now, my second subpoint, companies exaggerate how much change they actually do. Some would say that Amazon and Apple are doing a few jobs to do it. In total, today we looked at three types of social justice reforms our country needs now: gun violence, racial injustice, and climate justice. Progress is impossible without change, and those who cannot change their minds cannot change anything. Political activist George Bernard Shaw said that. We must change. Yeah.